Hello everyone. So in the last video we were discussing about the reproduction in the plants and the animals. In the last video we have discussed about the sexual reproduction in the plants. In this video we will discuss about the sexual reproduction in the animals. In the animals, the organisms also showing the reproduction process by the sexual means that the both parents are needed for the reproduction process, either male or the female, the male and the female both needed for the reproduction process, that is known as by sexual means. You know that the sexual reproduction also takes place by the two ways, external and internal fertilization or the reproduction process. External fertilization, how the external fertilization takes place? External fertilization takes place in the amphibians and the fishes. How it takes place? The fishes lay the eggs under the water on the secure places. Afterward, the male are leaving their sperms or giving their sperms near to that egg, and ultimately the fusion of that sperms takes place with that egg, and by that way the fertilization takes place. But that fertilization takes place outside the body of an organism, so that's why it is known as the external fertilization, and it takes place in the amphibian and the fishes. They are showing their fertilization by this process. They are leaving, fishes leaving the ovum outside their body in the water, and they are leaving their sperm near to that egg, and by that way the fertilization. Next one is known as internal fertilization. Internal fertilization takes place in the birds, in the reptiles, as well as in the mammals too. And this fertilization, how this fertilization takes place, the fusion of the sperm and the ova takes place inside the body of a woman or a female, is known as the internal fertilization. In this video or in this chapter we are going to discuss about the human beings, how the fertilization takes place, what are their reproductive organs, what are their functions. So let us begin about that. The male reproductive system, firstly we will discuss about the male reproductive system. Here you can see the diagrams of a male and the female reproductive system. Okay, the male reproductive system, as I told you, the male are responsible, or male sex produce the large number of the sperms, and that production takes place in their testes. Testes are present in their body, two testes are present in the male's body, and here the production of the sperms takes place. Afterward, there are two type of testes, as I told you, two testes are present in a male body, and that testes are present outside the abdomen cavity, and it is present in the sac-like body. This is known as the scrotum part. So testes are present in the scrotum part outside the abdomen cavity. Testes are covered by, or here the epidermis is present. Epidermis is a tube-like body that is lying closing to the testis, and here the nourishment of the sperms takes place, means the sperms become mature in the epidermis of the male person. From the after epidermis, when it becomes mature, with the help of this tube-like production, this is known as vas deferens. Van deferens. Sorry, here is the spelling mistake. Vas deferens. Vas deferens are responsible to take these sperms from the testis and giving it to the urethra, and with the help of penis they are coming out. So vas deferens are responsible to carry these sperms from the testis part of the male reproductive system. And it is extending, how the vas deferens extending, they are extending to the urinary bladder, and from the urinary bladder they are coming to the urethra, and from the penis they are coming out. And in this process, means in this journey, the number of secretions takes place by the glands, and that secretions also mix with these sperms, and when it is coming to the urethra, when it is coming out from the penis part, that is known as a semen part, because that is already mixed with several kind of secretions that are takes place, or that secretion takes place from the several kind of glands that are linked with it. So they are giving their mixtures with it, so the sperms are mixing with that secretion, so it is converting in the form of a semen. So that semen with the help of urethra through the penis is coming out, and with the help of penis only it is entering to the female body, to the female vagina. Next we are going to discuss about the female reproductive system. So by that way the sperms are entering to the female body, so that is the male reproductive system. Next we are going to discuss about the female reproductive system. As you are able to see the diagram of a female reproductive system, female reproductive system consists of a ovaries. Two ovaries are present in a female reproductive system, and these ovaries are present outside the funnel-like projection of the fallopian tubes. In a female reproductive system, a fallopian tube is present, and this fallopian tube having a funnel-like projections around the ovary of a female. So that is known as the funnel of a fallopian tube, and this is known as a fallopian tube as well as the oviduct. This ovaries are connected with the uterus part of the female body, and this uterus part having a outer ending, and here it is attached with the vagina part. So uterus is attached with the vagina part with the help of cervix of a female reproductive system. How the reproduction takes place now? In the as I told you, these the ovaries are responsible to produce the ova. Okay. Either one ovary is producing one ova at a single time, and that production takes place, and with the help of fallopian tube it is coming to the uterus part, and in the uterus part they are they are remaining in the uterus part of the human body, and afterward when the fusion takes place, when the sperm enter to the female part of a female body, then what is happening in the uterus part, they are showing the fusion. That sperm is entering to the female reproductive system through the vagina, and from vagina it is going to the fallopian tube. But no doubt the ovaries are giving out the ova in the fallopian tubes, and from here the fusion of the ova with the sperms takes place, and afterward they are going to coming to the uterus part, and in the uterus part only they are attached with the lining of the uterus part, and the proper fusion takes place, and they are giving formation of a zygote. Okay, afterward they are giving the formation of zygote in the uterus part, because they are attached with the walls of the uterus, and here they are showing the thick lining also, where the fusion takes place. And after this fusion, what is happening, the uterus lining is also giving the protection to the fetus, or that fusion, the zygote. Okay, after maturity that zygote is converting into the fetus or embryo look, that is known as fetus or embryo look. Now what is happening, in the when it is converting to the fetus that are remained in the uterus part, uterus lining becomes thickened in that process, and automatically one sac appeared there, that is known as the amniotic sac. Amniotic sac is the thick lining of the uterus that is protecting the baby, and in the amniotic sac one fluid is present, that is known as the amnion fluid. So that fluid and that lining is responsible to protect the baby from the external shocks. Next one, what is happening in the fetus, the fetus, when it is present in the uterus part, the fetus is enriched with the blood vessels and also getting the food and the other nutrients from the female body. How it is getting? It is attached, that fetus is attached with the female body with the help of a placenta. Placenta is a special structure that is responsible to attach the baby with the mother's body, and that placenta is attached with the baby's body with the help of one cord that is known as the umbilical cord. That umbilical cord is responsible to give the whole nourishment to the baby, to the fetus, as well as it is responsible to take the waste material from the fetus body and sending it to the blood of the mother. So by that way the fetus is getting the oxygen as well as other nourishment from the mother's body and giving waste also to the mother's body. That is their function, and this period is known as the pregnancy period. And in this pregnancy period, as I told you, the amniotic sac is present there, that is protecting the female, that is protecting the fetus, and amniotic fluid is present in it, that is protecting the fetus from the external shocks. Next one, what is happening after after the pregnancy, at the end of the pregnancy is about 9 months, and after the end of the pregnancy, what is happening, this amnion membrane is ruptured, means the burst is there, and after the burst of that amnion, the baby is pushed out through the vagina by the contractions of the uterus. In the uterus lining, the contractions are there, and the baby is pushed out from the female womb. Next one, sometimes there is a birth of the twins also. Now, two type of twins are there: fraternal or non-identical, or identical twins. Now, how the identical twins and non-identical twins takes birth? How it is happen? Sometimes two ova mature at the same time. Okay, two ova are maturing on the same time in the female womb. Then there is the formation, or there is a birth of the two non-identical twins that are known as the fraternal twins also, when they are taking birth from the two different ovas that are showing the maturity at the same time. Next one is known as the identical twins. Sometimes the twins are formed or born also if the fertilized egg divides into two, means the single egg sometimes divide into two number, and by that way also the twins take their birth, and that twins are known as the identical twins. They are having the same resemblance, and sometimes you are seeing that the twins having a different resemblance. So by that way, non-identical and identical twins born. Next one, we are going to discuss about the menstrual cycle. The ovaries usually release an ovum into the fallopian tube once in 28 days. Means the ova is released in a fallopian tube in the 28 days. This process is known as the ovulation process. This is the ovulation process. The release of ovum into the fallopian tube is known as ovulation, and it is followed by the thickening of the uterine wall, as well as the uterus is prepared to receive and nourish the embryo. The uterus is already prepared in that period to nourish the embryo, but if they are not getting the sperm in that period inside the female womb, then what is happening, that ova is not fertilized, that is burst, and that is thrown out through the vagina together with the lining of uterus as well as with the blood, and this process is known as the menstruation process or menstruation. The whole process of ovulation, thickening of uterine lining, and menstruation, this whole process is known as menstrual cycle. It is usually of 28 days cycle, and menstruation stops when the woman is 45 to 50 years around, and this is known as the menopause. When the menstrual cycle stops in the female body, that is known as menopause, and menstrual cycle takes place in the female body, and it is of 28 days. So this is all about the reproductive system as well as the reproduction, how it takes place in the animal's body, what are the reproductive organs that are present in the organisms. So this is all about it. Hope you understood that, but before that I want to give you one home assignment. You have to draw the diagram of a female reproductive system as well as the male reproductive system on your notebooks, and try to solve the back exercise of this chapter. Hope you understood. Thank you very much.